The conference room was buzzing with chatter when I glanced at my phone, its screen lighting up with an incoming call from Tyler. I stepped out into the hallway, expecting the usual questions: how's the trip? When will you be home? But instead, Tyler's voice came through cold and smug. I'm divorcing you, he said, his tone almost triumphant. I already sold the apartment, so you'll need to figure out where you're going to live. Enjoy that. For a moment, I couldn't even breathe. The audacity of it, the absolute lack of remorse, was almost laughable. My hand tightened around the phone as his words began to sink in. You sold the apartment? I asked, keeping my voice as calm as I could. Yeah, he said with a dry chuckle. Nicole and I need the money to start our life together. She deserves better than that tiny place anyway. Nicole! The name hit like a punch. I'd suspected for months there was someone else's late nights, the sudden work trips, the growing emotional distance, it all pointed to another woman. But to hear him say her name so casually, like I was the one intruding on their life, ignited a fire in my chest. Sounds good, I replied evenly. I wasn't about to give him the satisfaction of hearing me crack. My name is Amelia, and until that phone call, I believed I'd married a man I could trust. Tyler and I had been together for 6 years, and though it hadn't always been perfect, I believed in our partnership. We'd worked hard to buy that apartment, a cozy 2-bedroom in the city I fell in love with the moment I saw it. It wasn't just a home. It was a symbol of what we'd built towards. So I thought, looking back now, the signs were there. Subtle cracks in the foundation I chose to ignore. Tyler's dismissiveness when I brought up finances, how he brushed off my concerns with a quick kiss and a charming smile. I assumed his confidence came from competence, but now I saw it came from knowing he could manipulate me. That the rest of the day passed in a blur. I sat through meetings, nodding at the right moments while my thoughts spiraled. Tyler thought he'd won that. He could pull the rug out from under me, sell the apartment I fought for, and walk away scot-free. But there was one crucial thing he didn't know. I had the apartment deed transferred into my name months ago. When we refinanced earlier in the year, I had it updated, something Tyler signed off on without a second glance. He hadn't bothered to read the fine print. His carelessness was going to be his downfall. By the time I got back to my hotel room that evening, shock had morphed into clarity. I wasn't going to cry. Tyler wanted a battle. Fine. This was one I'd win. The first call I made was to Chloe, lawyer and longtime friend. I explained everything, calm, even though my heart raced. He sold the apartment, she asked, stunned. Does he even realize he can't do that without your consent? Apparently not, I said, a hint of amusement slipping through. He thinks the money's already his for his big, shiny, new life with Nicole. Chloe let out a dry laugh. Well, he's in for a rude awakening. The sale's invalid. You've got sole ownership. If he's taken money already, he's looking at fraud. That word fraud sent a wave of satisfaction through me. What do we do next? I asked. First, we notify the buyer. Then we send Tyler a formal letter outlining the consequences. If he tries anything else, we take him to court. When I hung up, a strange calm washed over me. Tyler thought he'd left me scrambling, powerless, but in reality, he'd just triggered his own downfall. The next few days, I focused on work, pushing down the emotions and keeping my eyes on the path ahead. The betrayal still burned, but the fire it lit gave me strength. By the time I boarded the flight home, I was ready. Ready to confront Tyler. Ready to dismantle his lies. And most of all, to start over. As the plane touched down. My first call was to Chloe. "I'm back," I said, pulling my suitcase off the carousel. "What's next?" "We've notified the buyer," she told me. "They were shocked furious at Tyler. Actually, they're cooperating, which helps." I sent the formal letter to Tyler this morning. It outlines the illegality of the sale and your sole ownership. If he's smart, he'll back off. If not, well, we're ready. When I got home, the apartment felt off. Tyler's jacket still hung on chairs. His shoes were by the door, but the energy had shifted. I took a breath and set my suitcase down. The confrontation was coming. I could feel it. Sure enough, that evening, Tyler came storming in, red-faced and seething. He waved Chloe's letter in my face. "What the hell is this? You're saying I can't sell the apartment? It's half mine." "No, Tyler," I said calmly, arms crossed. "It's not. The deed has been in my name for months. You signed off on it. You can't sell what you don't own." He froze, confused and furious. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out the deed I'd prepared, holding it up. "Remember when we refinanced? I had the title transferred. You signed everything." Didn't bother to read it like always. For a second, he was silent. Then his face twisted. "You think you're so clever? None of this matters. I already made a deal. You'll look stupid when it all unravels. The sale's void. Tyler, the buyer, knows it. And if you've spent a dime of that deposit, you're looking at real trouble." His confidence cracked. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, I do," I said, voice even. "You've treated me like I was too naive to see what was happening. But I've been paying attention, Tyler, and now you're facing the consequences." He started pacing. "This is ridiculous. You're blowing this out of proportion. You can't just kick me out." "Actually," I said, "I can legally. This is my home. You can stay for now, only because I'm being generous, but make no mistake, I'm not going anywhere." Over the next few days, Tyler's anger gave way to desperation. He left voicemail after voicemail, some begging, others threatening. Meanwhile, Chloe was tying up legal loose ends. The buyer canceled the deal, furious at the waste of time and money, and Chloe prepared the initial divorce paperwork. "You're in a strong position," she said. "He has no leverage. Between the voided sale and fraud implications, he'll have to cooperate." Her words grounded me, but also reminded me how much I'd let Tyler control for years. I used to excuse his arrogance, his dismissiveness, but not anymore. Lauren, my best friend, came over to help box up Tyler's things. "How's he taking all this?" she asked, holding one of his gaudy ties. "Not well," I said, chuckling. "Still thinks he can charm his way out, but I'm not budging." "Good," she said, tossing the tie in a box. "He doesn't deserve a single inch of your space." Her support meant everything. For so long, I'd felt alone in my marriage, carrying the emotional and financial weight while Tyler basked in unearned credit. But now, I had people in my corner. Then came the final moment. Tyler showed up with Nicole. I was at the dining table reviewing documents. When they strolled in like they owned the place, Nicole glanced around, arm hooked through his. "So, this is where we're staying," she said smugly. I stood, heart racing, but voice steady. "No, this is where Tyler was staying. You won't be staying here at all." Nicole's smile vanished. "What is this?" Tyler snapped. "This," I said, gesturing, "is my home. Not yours. Not hers. And definitely not your crash pad after stabbing me in the back." Nicole's face turned cold. Tyler looked like he was about to explode. "You can't do this." "Yes, I can. The deed's in my name. Always has been." "You signed the papers, remember?" Nicole blinked, turning to him. "You said you sold the apartment. You said it was yours." He flinched. "It's complicated." "Oh, it's not," I cut in. "He tried to sell something that wasn't his. That sale is void. And if he spent that money, it's fraud." Nicole stepped back, horrified. "You lied to me?" she whispered. "Yes," I said firmly. "And if he doesn't leave by end of day, I'll press charges." Tyler's composure finally broke. "You can't do this, Amelia. We've been together 6 years. You threw that away. The second you made that phone call, you didn't just betray me. You tried to ruin me." Nicole turned, muttered something about not being dragged into this, and walked out, slamming the door behind her. I turned to Tyler. "Looks like you're on your own. Now, let's talk next steps." He slumped onto the couch. "Please, Amelia, I screwed up. But you don't have to do this." "You're right, I don't. But I will." I dropped a folder on the coffee table. "Divorce paper. You really hate me that much." I laughed bitterly. "I don't hate you. I pity you. You had everything and destroyed it because of your ego." I stood tall, my voice firm. "Be out by the end of the day. This is the last bit of grace I'm giving you." He started to argue, then stopped, defeated. "Fine," he muttered. "Good," I said, "and don't try anything. Chloe's handling everything. Now, next time you mess up, it's court." He left without looking back. I watched the door close behind him, locking it with the new key I'd had made. This was my home now, and no one was going to take it from me again. The silence afterward was beautiful. For the first time in years, I could breathe. I stood in the living room, the absence of his clutter making everything feel brighter. That evening, Lauren came by with wine. "Is he really gone?" she asked. "Gone and not coming back," I said, handing her a glass. "2 fresh starts." She toasted to never letting anyone walk all over me again, I replied. Over the next few days, I reclaimed the space. New decor, new energy, and a new version of me strong, free. And finally, unburdened. Tyler reached out a few times, pathetic apologies, guilt trips. I ignored them all. He made his choices. Now he could live with them. The apartment was mine again, and so was my life.